The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
You know, the issue of the president's college transcripts and his college academic records, I thought a total non-starter until Donald Trump really came up with, a way of fighting the Mitt Romney, the demand on Mitt Romney. Here, play cut 7. Got it, Crash?
What Governor Romney should do, in my opinion, is say, I will give my tax returns if you open up your records, because as you know, President Obama spent over $4 million trying to hide so many different things from his past, whether it's college applications, college records, passport records, and nobody brings this up. Nobody says, open up your passport records, open up your college applications, open up your college records. Let's see your life. And nobody brings this up. Why is he spending $4 million on trying to keep them secret? So I would say I will open up my tax returns, and his tax returns are perfect. But I would open up my tax returns, but we want to see your record. And I would think that you would probably not hear any more talk, frankly, about the tax returns.
Does Donald Trump have a point? Will you still be as eager to see Mitt Romney's tax returns, if President Obama has to turn over his records, particularly at Columbia University? I think one's yin and the other's a yang, apples and oranges. But Wayne Allen Root, the former libertarian candidate for vice president, the author of The Conscience of a Libertarian, was a classmate, he says, of President Obama at Columbia. Hi, Wayne.
Hey, Geraldo, how are you?
I want to go through 4 things. Fine, thanks. I'm glad you're on the program. I'm going to go through 4 things that you allege, and you tell me what the backing is for it.
Yeah, when you say allege, wait, I got to tell you, when you say allege, I'm like Harry Reid. I think Harry Reid opened the door for me. I've thought about these things for 4 years and wrote about it finally a few days ago, and it wound up on the front of Drudge, and I've been on every big talk show talking about it, but I'm always make it clear at the start of every interview, just like Harry Reid, he's guessing about Mitt Romney.
So you're guessing. Hold on. I got you, Wayne. You're guessing. You're guessing, A, he rarely ever attended class.
Well, that one's not a guess. That one was he was my classmate, and I thought I knew everyone, and I never saw him, never heard of him, never met him, and don't know anybody at Columbia that I've ever met that's ever saw him or heard of him or met him. And
his grades were not those typical of what we understand it takes to get into Harvard Law School.
Right, that would be my guess. I think they weren't typical of what gets into Columbia University either, from what has been said by classmates at Occidental who said he was not a good student and he didn't go to class a lot and he got lousy grades.
All right, now we get into the incendiary area. He attended Columbia as a foreign exchange student.
Right, good guess based on common sense. Remember what I am, Geraldo, not just a VP candidate from the past and a politician and a political talking head, but a Vegas odds maker for 26 years with over 3 million clients. I've made millions of dollars on gut instincts alone. I look at clues, I come up with a conclusion, I pick a team, thousands of people pay me for that advice, and I look at the situation, and I just said to myself, now that Harry Reid has made some guesses about tax returns he knows nothing about, let me make some common sense gut instinct guesses. How do you get into Columbia when you're not a good student at a very average school called Occidental? You can't get into Columbia from Occidental. It's impossible unless you are top of your class, number 1 at Occidental. How did that happen? How do you go to Harvard Law School if you had bad grades at Columbia? Did he have bad grades at Columbia? I don't know, but his records are sealed. If you have good grades...
So you're saying that he was a foreign exchange student, though. Why couldn't he just be an affirmative action, African-American?
It's possible, but I'll tell you what, the fastest track for any college in America nowadays, ask any college admissions officer I have, the fastest track for the last several decades is to get the top rankings at U.S. News and World Report and other places that rank colleges, which is what results in a lot of rich parents spending $50,000 and paying full freight and sending their kids to your college, is you want top ranking. And how do you get it? Diversity. And diversity is you have students from 170 countries instead of from 20 countries.
All right. I got it. He paid little for either undergraduate college or Harvard Law School because of foreign aid and scholarships given to poor foreign students like this kid, Barry Soetoro from Indonesia.
Another guess, but I asked the
So you don't know his name was Barry Soetoro from Indonesia?
Well, I know he was Barry Soetoro at Columbia University. That's a fact.
How do you know that?
What do you mean? That's the name he used at Columbia. He even admits that in his autobiography. That was his name at Columbia University, was Barry Soetoro. So, I mean, that's not up for any debate that I know of. I've never heard a debate.
And he's from Indonesia.
Well, here's the thing.
At least he's not from Kenya.
Let's make sure I put this in the right context. I'm not and never have been a birther. I'm assuming he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, but it's a fact that he moved to Indonesia with his mother when she married a new man, and he became an Indonesian citizen. You cannot attend Indonesian schools, public schools, without becoming an Indonesian citizen. And I'm making an assumption, this is my guess, how this all happened in innocent.
Okay, Wayne, hang on. Wayne Allen Root, hang on there, because I want to bring in Michael Tarkiff, who's a presidential biographer. He's developed a reputation as today's preeminent practitioner of oral history. In A Complicated Man, the life of Bill Clinton is told by those who know him. That's where Michael Tarkiff has made his bones most recently. So, Michael, you've heard Wayne Allen Root, the odds maker, telling us about President Obama at Columbia University. You don't want to comment on the scholarship?
Well, I think what I'm hearing is a lot of wild speculation. And let's also remember, going back to the point with Donald Trump and going back to what you said, Geraldo, that these are apples and oranges. What we're talking about is a college transcript for what happened when the man was 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. Mitt Romney's tax returns relate directly to his behavior as a responsible adult. They also relate directly to his entire pitch as a presidential candidate. Vote for me because I know how to create jobs. Vote for me because of my business background. Well, okay, then his tax returns are directly relevant to this entire pitch he's making to try to convince the American people to hire him for this job. They're so much more germane to this election campaign than these college transcripts are.
Geraldo, can I jump in here?
Please.
Well, first of all, there is so much more germane. I agree with you. I write 3 commentaries a week. They're all in the mainstream media. They're all over the world, and I'm on media all over the world, and I write 99% of the time about the fact that Obama is the worst president in American history on economic issues. He knows nothing about how to create jobs, and he's destroying the economy. This is the one thing I've ever written that has anything to do with anything other than economics, but it does have very much to do with whether he's qualified to be president of the United States, because if my theory happens to be correct, and I got news for you, I think I've hit a bullseye. I
don't see that. What'd you hit a bullseye? That he didn't attend classes in Columbia?
No, that
I used to
doesn't
take
matter.
tests for my classmates at University of Arizona.
Hey, Geraldo, the liberal argument, the liberal narrative is to make light of this and say, who cares what grades he got 30 years ago? And I agree. Why would a sitting president care if people saw that he got straight C's at Columbia 30 years ago? So then why are the records sealed? Because there's something else there, and you in the media, especially you, Geraldo, the best investigative reporter maybe on the planet, should be very...
What a guy. And I also went to Columbia Graduate School of Journalism with Fred Friendly. But I'm going to give Michael take it. Michael, you have the last word.
Geraldo, there's been an attempt since President Obama came on the scene to turn him into something other, something un-American. We saw a top Romney surrogate just a couple of weeks ago say he needs to learn how to be American. There are all these stories about his birthplace, about his religion. People are trying to make him somehow a foreigner, and here we have a gentleman talking about him as though he were a foreign exchange student. A man saying this with really, you'll pardon me, Mr. Root, with no real evidence to back it up, but just a gut instinct, your instinct as an odds maker. This is all of a piece with what people have been trying to say. The man is an American citizen. He was born here. If you don't like his policies, that's one thing, but let's not try to make him something, quote, other.
All right, Michael Tarkiff, excellent. Wayne Allen Root, very feisty. I appreciate both of you coming on. Thank you very much. I'll be right back, folks.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.